What up, YouTube? This is Steven, and welcome back to another video. In this video, I want to talk about something that's been in the news for a while now. Well, a little while now. And that is Paris Jackson claiming that she is black. I think she phrased it something along the lines of, I consider myself black, versus saying that she is black. Which some people may say, well, all roads lead to the same destination, which I can understand that. But I just wanted to point that out, by the way. So, the question has been, is Paris Jackson black? And my personal answer to that is, nah, Paris Jackson ain't black. Like, really? Are we really entertaining this? I personally think that Paris Jackson is doing this for like publicity and possibly to try and get herself some, roles in Black Hollywood. Because she is going to be making her acting debut pretty soon on a television show called Stars that I believe is created and produced by Lee Daniels. And I think Queen Latifah may be involved with it too. So I think that's part of the reason why she is doing this, for some attention and possibly for some opportunities. But I'm like, black folk, black people, don't fall for the okie doke. Like, don't fall for this. Like, this chick, I think she's like going to be, come in the community. She's going to, probably take some black opportunities. Well, not probably, but she's going to come in the community. Going to take some black opportunities here and there. Laugh and smile, do some photo ops. She may date, a few black guys here and there. Maybe, But that's probably as much as the black community is going to get from her. Because I really think she is just out for herself and that she is like, I don't know, kind of a little on the shady side. I don't personally know her, but I'm just seeing things in the media. I think that she kind of wants attention. I think that she may be dealing with some mental issues as well. I know there was somewhere I read that, she had attempted to commit suicide multiple times. And I'm thinking either, okay, she is really desperate for attention or she has mental issues. I feel like in this case, she may be desperate for attention. There may be a mental issue connected to that as well. But if her suicides were legitimately real, then I don't, want to come off as insensitive, because I know that is a serious subject. But also, look at her physical features, because blackness, it is a cultural identity, but it is also a look to it. And some people some people gonna say, oh, black people come in all shades. Black people have all different types of features. I'm like, ugh. We all, really? I mean, to an extent, I can understand that because, even if you were to, go outside of America and go to Africa and, look at the population of Africa as far as the native sub-Saharan Africans are concerned, yeah, there's a variety of shades and a variety of features, yada, yada, yada. So yes, that, I could see possibly where somebody would try to say, well, I don't see why people would make that argument in this case, but I can understand in other cases. Like if we were looking at someone who did have black features, but maybe their features weren't as black as other people's features. But in this case, I don't see Paris Jackson's black features, And then another argument. Well, there are black people who are white passing. That is true. That is true. There are white passing black people, like your Mariah Carey's, your Rashida Jones's, Maya Rudolph's, Vin Diesel's, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and, etc. Tons more we could probably mention. But those are just a few that come to my mind off the top of my head, But yeah, those people do exist. But I mean, they are white passing. But if you look at them, you can see some type of you can see something as far as their physical look is concerned that may not totally register as white, but it registers white enough to pass. Thus, they are, not necessarily white, but maybe like white passing, But I don't think this is the case. I really don't think this is the case. I look at, and right now, Paris got blonde hair. She dyed her hair blonde, so it's really highlighting the whiteness in her, But even when she had darker hair, I still didn't see any blackness. I still don't see it in her hair texture, her skin tone, her facial features. I don't see visible blackness. I think that is something. And as far as her parents are concerned, Michael Jackson was, the father in her life, the paternal figure in her life. A lot of people say that, Michael Jackson never fathered, biologically fathered his children. Because they look at the kids and they just say, they see that the kids don't really have any type of a mark of blackness, and also all three of your children white passing, that seems a little convenient. That seems a little convenient that all three of your kids are white passing. I think the youngest one, Blanket, might have a little look to him, but I don't know if that look registers as I see a little black. I don't really see that, but maybe a little look to him. He could be maybe part indigenous or, Middle Eastern, something like that. But Wendy Williams commented on this, and I'm going to kind of commend Wendy Williams on this, because sometimes Wendy Williams can be on the coon train. Don't get me wrong, I do like Wendy Williams, but sometimes she can be on the Coonaroon train, Coon Atlantic Express. When she said she doesn't see a need for HBCUs, for instance, and a lot more things that she said. But I'm going to give her credit for this. I'm going to read this quote that Wendy said on her television show. All right. So Wendy says, "I get that she considers herself black and everything, but I'm just saying but I'm just talking about the visual, because black is not what you call yourself. It's what the cops see when they got steel on your neck on the turnpike. It's what they see. But that's cute and good for her." And I kind of agree with Wendy on that, because I feel like it is there's a visual aspect to being black. It's not totally a cultural thing. And some people probably want to argue like, well, we have light-skinned black people. We have white passing black people, We all come in, different shades and different features. All these arguments trying to claim Paris, but I'm like, why though? Why y'all trying to claim her? She is not going to be doing anything like she's not going to be of any benefit to us. And I know that may sound a little like petty and not defiance, but maybe a little petty to say something like that. But like, do you really think, like, for instance, Black Lives Matter? Where was she? Where was she when all the Black Lives Matter stuff was going on? Police shootings, police brutality. Where was she? If she is really white passing, she could be using her white passing privilege to help. And I know she's young, and I know it's possibly we could be like, well, that's a lot to put on her lap. Okay, yeah, but it's also a lot to put on our lap to expect us to claim someone and to share opportunities with this person. And opportunities and resources are already scarce enough as it is. So we bring in someone who doesn't even have a biological relationship to black people into the mix. And I think that's just going to complicate things, and it kind of just opens the door for more, shenanigans like this. It really does. I mean, heck, why not Rachel Dolezal, right? At least she, attempted to actually look somewhat like a black person. Notice she did go for the mixed girl look, versus, the full black girl look. But that is probably like a whole nother video in itself. But yeah, what about Rachel Dolezal, right? We could be like, hey, Rachel, she black, because she put on, like, she sprayed on some self-tanner and, curl her hair. But again, at least I'll say, like, at least she, like, knew that she couldn't just come in looking straight up white. At least she was smart enough not to do some mess like Paris Jackson is doing, But she said, like, Paris Jackson says that her dad told her that she's black, and I guess told her and encouraged her to identify as black, which I can actually kind of see Michael Jackson saying and doing some stuff like that, even though some people say that Michael Jackson was, he did have some issues, as far as like, the way he looks, some, internalized, self-loathing issues, he didn't like aspects about himself. But at the same time, I will say that Michael Jackson never said like coon stuff. He never really talked down to black people or talked about black people in a negative light in the media, at least not from what I heard. I'll give him that. So I'm guessing like it was like more of an issue within himself of not necessarily liking aspects of himself. And of course, living in the society we live in, which is, perpetuates the white is right myth. Perhaps he just drunk the Kool-Aid, But she said that her dad told her to identify as black, she black. She considers herself black, etc. And I think that maybe I shouldn't go there. But I think in this particular case, if Paris does an ancestry DNA test and it comes up, what are the results? What would the results of that test be? What would the results of that test be? I really think it would just be mostly European. You know, I don't think any black would show up. She might have like a trace of maybe like Native American in her, you know, but I don't think any black is going to show up. You know, I don't think so. But hey, if Paris, Paris Jackson, you know, if she takes a DNA test, an ancestry DNA test, and it shows up that she has a significant portion of African blood in her, you know, African DNA, then perhaps she'll have, people be a bit more accepting, like, okay, maybe she is white passing and she just looks really white. But still, I just don't think that's the case. Um, and, let me just put it out there that I don't have anything against white passing black people. Trust me, I don't have anything against white passing black people. Um, but I'm just saying, like, even with white passing black people, if you look at them hard enough or long enough, you probably could see a little blackness in them, Um, slightly off subject, but it still comes back to the subject. And, I've had a coworker who was like a white passing Hispanic person. And I kind of noticed something that was not, that didn't register as white, but it was white enough to pass. But then when he had, told me that, he's part Peruvian, then I'm like, oh, okay. So I said it to myself, like, okay, that kind of explains part of his look. And again, looking at Paris, I just don't see it. And I hope that black people, but especially black women, I hope that they don't fall for this. YouTuber Chrissy did a good video about this, and she really explained why. She really went into depth and explained it from like a black perspective, but also more specifically a black woman's perspective too. About, kind of like basically participating in your own erasure, So yeah, there you have it. That's my opinion. So what do you think? Feel free to let me know. Feel free to comment. Feel free to subscribe. Feel free to give me a thumbs up. Your feedback and support are extremely appreciated and extremely valued. Until the next video, adios and goodbye for now.